Gensler going under fire from his fellow commissioners. We'll break all that down for you guys today. You don't want to miss that. The impact on elections and crypto is happening. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back into Tech Path. I do want to thank our sponsor today, and that is Coinbase. If you're brand new to crypto, or maybe you're an OG in crypto, you just need a new place to trade, check out Coinbase.com. It's one of the best places out there to get your crypto journey started. And of course, use our link down below. You get $200 in crypto. You guys can get started. All right, let's go into a couple of things today. I want to hit on what is happening in the election around crypto voters. Of course, you have to look at Polymarket, the one place where it is driven off, of course, Polygon, a crypto platform out there. It's kind of interesting how so many of mainstream media is using this. But the key here is Trump is now starting to edge outside the area of potential accuracy. Or I think this scenario is going to play out not good for Kamala Harris. I want to go to a clip here with TYT. This is Cjenk. He's talking about this very thing, and he's talking about Polymarket. So take a look.
But the reality is people are putting their money behind this. So it's not like just knuckleheads going, what's the big deal? No, they're putting their money where their mouth is. It's been right on a lot of things. And the thing that it was most right about was Tim Walz. And when I see something, predict something better than I do, I go, whoa. Yeah. Remember, everybody's in their bubble. And this gives you the whole national bubble. And it's not rocket science. You offer the average American things that they need and things that they want. So when I saw that they weren't doing the fundamentals right, I said, uh-oh, now she's going to lose the lead. And she has.
The idea is everything that the Biden administration has enforced, we're going to continue to see that. She isn't really implementing any different viewpoint or any change. And of course, to Cjenk's topic is that Polymarket is sniffing this out right now, holding in the 54.4 versus 45.2. This has been climbing pretty aggressively here, as you can kind of see. Let me kind of zoom in on that for you guys. Right there, you see the movement really that happened around the 4th of October, and the split started to occur over the past several days. So I want to get to the tweet real quick. And this is on XRP, and of course, there's been so much activity within the XRP community and a lot of the major capital behind XRP trying to make this XRP ETF happen. And here's just kind of a line list of things that are going: Bitwise, Canary Capital, the Swell event. All of that's going to be happening around an XRP ETF. Now, with that being said, while this is happening, you have, of course, the SEC still putting pressure on the industry with Crypto.com. Of course, Crypto.com now coming back in a crossfile on a lawsuit against the SEC. And I think this is only hurting the Harris campaign in a big way because it shows government's overreach problem that they've had for quite some time. This next clip I want to go to, we'll get into some detail. And the detail is going around where Mark Uyeda, remember, Mark Uyeda, one of the commissioners at the SEC right now, very pro-crypto, in case you guys are brand new to that. Listen to what he said on national TV.
But Crypto.com is accusing the SEC of overstepping its jurisdiction. Joining me right now is SEC Commissioner Mark Uyeda. What is the SEC doing regarding crypto?
Our policies and our approach for the last several years have been just really a disaster for the whole industry. We've done nothing to provide guidance on it. I think what this Wells notice is, and while I won't comment on the specifics of this litigation, what has gone on is part of a broader frustration with the fact that we have not provided interpretive guidance as to what you can and cannot do, how you get regulated as a broker-dealer, how you get registered as an exchange.
And I'm stunned and thrilled, Mark, to hear you say this, an SEC commissioner. Do you feel within the organization that there has actually been overreach?
Well, I should say I'm one of 5 commissioners, so I only get 1 vote, and oftentimes I find myself outvoted on these issues with my colleagues. I think within the agency, our agenda is directed by the chairman, Gary Gensler, and so the staff all follows his lead. The joke we have is we have about 5,000 employees at the SEC. He controls 4,995. I control 5.
Wow.
Right.
So is that, what's his motivation?
I won't speak for what Gary thinks as his personal motivations are. He certainly has a perspective. The way I look at it, I've been with the agency for 18 years, done a lot of things involving regulation of securities, and the approach we're taking seems to be the wrong one.
Isn't that he's speaking your language?
Oh my God! God bless you, Mark.
Well, this is interesting because for him to do this on national TV, even though it was Fox, the point is that the scenario might be shifting underneath Gensler in terms of a position for the SEC itself. Now, remember, the SEC on Friday dropped this bomb, and that was suing crypto market maker Cumberland DRW. I think this just goes in alignment with what Mark Uyeda was saying, is that they've taken the wrong approach around this. He knows it. DRW Cumberland came in to register, and what the SEC simply said was, yeah, you can do everything, but you're going to only do the Bitcoin and ETH scenario, even though ETH was not necessarily deemed a security at the time. So the amount of sidestepping and, basically indecisiveness coming in out of the SEC, I think is what MetaLawMan is hitting on. So the good thing is they're going right at them. So on a countersuit. So that'll be, I think, a good thing. And that's the point, is everybody's fighting back now. A lot of people fighting back. You've got crypto.com, now DRW, all fighting back. I think this is a big one for sure. Stuart Alderati, who of course has been at the forefront of this, importantly, the SEC already said they're not appealing the ruling on XRP itself, that it isn't a security. So that's done. They apologized in the other case, suggesting the token itself could be a security. That's the law, and the appeal on these other issues doesn't really change it. So even if they were to win the appeal, which is unlikely that they will, on the other scenarios, the fact that XRP is not a security is still going to be the case. So when you look at the XRP situation, they're now coming after Bitnomial, all based on the XRP futures contract. So again, they've also countersued. So man, the amount of lawfare that seems to be going on right now, with especially around XRP, but even more importantly is the acceleration into crypto with what's happening right now with the election, is mind-boggling to me, because it really does put, I think, the Harris campaign in a bad position. Here, of course, is Bitnomial talking about they're going in and suing the SEC over the XRP futures situation, and they just challenge it. Hey, XRP is already a security. You've already admitted that. We've already had a ruling on this. Why are we doing and going throughout these scenarios? I want to get into two back-to-back clips here, and these clips will go into a little bit more detail on where Uyeda thinks the future of the SEC should be going. Take a look.
Look, Politico is reporting that Robinhood's chief legal officer, Dan Gallaher, is emerging as a leading contender to head the Securities and Exchange Commission if former President Donald Trump is reelected. Gallaher is also a former SEC commissioner. Do you believe that a Dan Gallaher or someone like that would change the direction?
I've been fortunate to know Dan for nearly 20 years. He certainly has a lot of experience in this area as a former commissioner. And now what he's been doing at Robinhood, he knows firsthand exactly the challenges of someone who's trying to operate within our rules and what happens when it's really unclear where the lines are on those rules. He testified a couple of weeks in Congress. I think he did a really good job of explaining just how frustrating it has been to deal with the SEC for the past several years.
Uyeda is exactly right. His position is unique because he's been on the other side to see what is the problem and how can they solve that. So that would be a good thing. Now here's Mark Cuban. He basically says the same thing, but in a little different way. Take a look.
You think Gary Gensler retains his title regardless of who wins in November?
So you've got millions of primarily men whose entire future in their mind and in their net worth is tied up in an app. And Gary Gensler is saying, fuck you to each and every one of them individually. He gone. He gone.
He gone?
We see at the Mavericks. He gone.
All right, so if you look at, that was a scary face by Cuban there. If you think about how long before we get a new potential commissioner, well, you got 601 days for his current tenure, but I think it bears down more to this day right here, which of course is when the election in 25 days, maybe 11, maybe that's the real counter going forward. So we'll see how it all plays out here, that's for sure. All right, I want to go to another clip. Here's MetaLawMan talking about what is his chances of getting fired this year or next. Take a look.
We could see one of two things. One, Gary Gensler resigns or is fired and is replaced by somebody who is not looking to kill crypto, and they want no part of it. They're going to do what's right, and what's right would probably be to settle or dismiss these cases. You know, it's silly to ask judges to make these decisions when there's already legislation percolating that would say the SEC does not have authority over this industry. You know, a number of things could happen, and I think there's probably better than a 50% chance that something happens to change the dynamics such that we could see these cases come to a close before the first quarter of 2026.
All right, so cases coming to a close before 26 can only mean that the likelihood of a new commissioner would be in play or a regulatory framework would be in play, which either would be a good position for crypto in general. There's another point that is playing out right now, and that is the Senate races and the importance of these races. Here's a clip by the Blockchain Association's president, Kristen Smith, talking about this. Take a look.
Is that 1 in 5 voters in swing states, and all of you represent swing states, considers cryptocurrency an important issue. But we also have 2 really big enemies, and that is Gary Gensler and Elizabeth Warren. It is very clear that if the Republicans control the Senate, we will be clear to never get people like Gary Gensler elected to the SEC ever again. And we'll also diminish Elizabeth Warren's ability to influence the Senate Banking Committee agenda. So I think, of the presidential election, the House elections, and the Senate elections are uniquely important.
See the race very quickly. We just had a poll come out last week. I'm 5 points ahead of my opponent. Got the Farm Bureau endorsement for the first time over 30 years. I know that was going to get you out of your chairs. I see that. I see how excited you are.
We love commodities.
Yeah,
no, that's a crypto joke. Nobody got it.
Yep.
Built 15 dealerships over 10 years, sold those to start my blockchain company. As we went to state governments and said, let us get rid of your legacy systems. Let us build you a blockchain-based digital titling system that uses blockchain to keep track of car ownership. We're now in 9 states. About a year and a half ago, I made the tough decision to run for Senate, and I'm running for one simple reason. Look, my opponent is Sherrod Brown. He's not Elizabeth Warren, but he's Elizabeth Warren's henchman. He's actually the chairman of the banking committee. Take a football, throw it into the stadium, and whoever caught that ball is more qualified to regulate crypto than Sherrod Brown. This guy has no idea. He's been in elected office for 50 years, never had a job in the private sector ever, and we put him in charge of the United States banking system. What could go wrong? My wife has made it clear that she's with me for 2 terms, or a 3rd term is with a second wife. I've been married for 35 years, so this is 2 terms.
I like it. I like this guy's attitude too. I mean, these are the kind of people we need in our regulatory framework in DC. Problem is that you have people like, guess who? The leader of the anti-crypto army, and that is Elizabeth Warren, who, by the way, is going head-to-head with our, I think the industry's hero, or one of them, and that is Mr. John Deaton, who is going head-to-head in a debate coming up this week. So be on the lookout for a pretty heated debate. I'm going to be watching this one very closely. We might get a Hail Mary here to displace Senator Warren, but we'll see how that one plays out. Don't forget, Stand With Crypto heating up. They are going out with early voting. You know what to do, and the way that they're doing is they're doing it with a bus that they're coming around with, and this is the cool thing. It's kind of in conjunction with chain smokers. They have this purple bus, great bus, by the way. But the key here is it's educating a lot of Americans on what crypto, blockchain, and this industry, digital assets, are really doing for a lot of people who are just trying to level up their lives. So that's the good thing that Coinbase is trying to get to. Very cool. Good job there. On the other hand, you've got Mr. Gensler going out to NYU and saying, hey, nope, there's still a lot of bad actors. There's still all this fraught problem with fraud. All of this is happening. Gensler's not changing his script at all. And it's kind of interesting when 20% of Americans own or use crypto, and tens of thousands of developers and builders. And we're continuing to lose innovation landscape, I think, here in the U.S. to a lot of countries, a lot of other regions, because of our actions that we're seeing out of D.C. and the SEC. But Gensler staying true to his form here. I want to go one more clip here. This is talking about the Stand With Crypto efforts and the crypto army instead of the anti-crypto army. Listen in.
As investors in this space, do you feel protected by Gary Gensler? Seriously, who wants to raise a hand and stand up behind that proposition? 0 people in this room just raised their hands. It's preposterous. I'm still waiting to meet members of the anti-crypto army. If you're out there, if you're here, come up to me afterwards. I'd love to buy you a coffee and talk things out. But instead, what I see are 1.5 million Americans who have now signed up as crypto advocates with Stand with Crypto. 52 million Americans have now bought or sold a digital asset, give or take. And we're going to vote and participate in the election in November accordingly in ways that I think are going to take people by surprise.
I would have to agree with that. I think that the misunderstanding of digital assets, crypto, by the executive administration that we have right now is absolutely, it's almost unfathomable because of the fact that would be such an easy opportunity for Harris to really kind of go in this direction, to show change, innovation, because it does offer a lot of uniqueness to bringing people in the middle class up. And I think, that has been kind of one of her positions. So the fact they're missing this and missing it in a big way is what is still surprising to me. So anyway, if you guys are not tuned in to our show right now in terms of a subscriber, all you have to do is just hit the subscribe button right now. And of course, join our Diamond Circle. It's our own private member group. It's very easy. We always leave a link down in the description below. And follow me on X, @PaulBaron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.